Hey guys, it's me Delta1 here with AspecAirsoft, and today we are bringing you a very special review, and that is of the Real Sword SVD. This is a extremely high quality external and internal gun. I don't own anything on this gun. I don't own any personal item that can touch this gun. This gun is phenomenal. I love it. I can't wait to get into this review. So, let's review the box. The box is kind of flashy. They didn't pay to have it kind of laminated or anything, but it does have a picture of the gun with the scope, and it has little check marks and stuff, SVD. Overall, you see it, it's SVD, Real Sword awesomeness. So, let's see what your gun looks like inside the box. So now that you've got your gun with the top off the box, this is what your gun will look like. It'll have a plastic wrap over it so it won't get scratched or anything like that. And it comes encased in some styrofoam, and some more styrofoam, some more styrofoam, and then some more styrofoam. And then, you can't forget, some more styrofoam. So your gun will never come damaged during shipping. If it does, you should probably yell at somebody. But anyways, so let's see what your gun will come with. So, now that you got all of this out of the box, let's see what it comes with. You have a old school speed loader, which I don't know why you'd ever want to use this, considering that you have all the money in the world to buy this rifle. You have probably a standard speed loader, so you probably won't use this. You'll use a standard one. And then it'll probably be annoying like it is now, and roll on to the middle of the screen and annoy you if you're reviewing. Anyways, then you will have a really neat tool, the front side post adjuster for the Real Sword, which is really neat because this is a unique tool that is specifically designed for this rifle. So this is a very unique tool and is quite useful, so don't lose this. Then you have a tool to basically disassemble this gun. This gun can almost disassemble the entire gun. This is a very useful tool, has an Allen key on it, it's basically a wrench, and it's just really cool. This is one of the reasons why I like Russian designed weapons, even though this is a Chinese design off of a SVD. So, it's really cool, I like this. And then you have a metal cleaning and dejamming rod. I would be very careful though when using this because it's metal and you don't want to scratch your inner barrel. So I would advise using a standard cleaning and dejamming rod because you don't want to scratch your inner barrel. But if you feel like being funny and wearing a ghillie suit and want to scare someone and be like Rattlesnake, you just be like and scare someone and then probably grab their leg and be like, you're out. Anyways, then you have one of the coolest features yet. You have your Real Sword manual, which is very cool because it has this ridiculously detailed inspection sheet. It says basically external pass, packaging contents pass, functionality parts pass, shooting performance pass. First round was chronoed at velocity of 135.4 meters, and then joules, it was at 1.83, and then blah 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 for 5 rounds. Then it was tested and inspected by Winry, or Winey, or whatever, some weird name. And then you have a Real Sword sticker, which is really cool. And then you have a kind of somewhat of a poster, which is really neat. And then you have this super ridiculously detailed other manual, which is more ridiculous. And also, if for whatever the reason your Real Sword SVD fails to work, or stops working, or your battery dies, you can consult to your manual and crush people with it because it is so thick. You could just be like, my gun's dead. I'm going to crush you with my manual because it's so damn big. That is why I like Real Sword. That's why this is going to be an amazing gun. Also, you have a this magazine is steel. You could run this over with your car all day long and it won't break. There's videos online of Real Swords, guys, where people have literally blown them up to smithereens and they're not broken. Now, I'm not saying go do this to this gun. God forbid you do this, you deserve to be slapped. This is a beautiful piece of machinery. And then, of course, you have your gun, which is extremely, extremely nice. You're a Real Sword SVD. Now that we're done with that, let's talk about the metal and wood components. But one thing I forgot, another thing that your gun comes with is a barrel condom, which is plastic, and is a nice real rubber content, and I'm going to throw it at my cameraman. Anyways, let's talk about the metal components. By the way, I just thought I'd put the scope on it because it makes the gun look all more awesome. And it does not come with the gun, but you can get it with the gun. I highly recommend, though, is not to actually buy the airsoft one for it, is to actually go off of a gun website. And I'm actually going to tell you to go buy it off of this website instead of actually buying it off of AspecAirsoft or an actual airsoft website. It's centerfiresystems.com. You can actually buy the real Romanian scopes, which will fit. They may require just a little bit of modifications. They probably won't. They're only, right now, they were, I think last time I checked, around the $130 area. Very nice, but if you want illumination, get the airsoft one. If you want to go for the most realistic possible, get the actual Romanian one. Or if you want to be the most realistic possible, go ahead and just buy the real Russian one. Anyways, let's go to wood and metal components. Metal components, let's just state what isn't metal. The laminated wood here, and basically everything else is made of steel, including the outer barrel, which is very nice considering that that's basically very rare to find on an airsoft gun, considering most VFC, almost every single VFC AK that I've ever owned and messed with has had an aluminum outer barrel due to importation laws. Makes it very hard to import airsoft guns with steel outer barrels. Now, another thing, the metal finish that they have on here is extremely, extremely nice. It's got a texture to it that makes it feel that it's an AK, and it's not like like if you've ever held a real Romanian AK, it feels like you dropped it in a 55-gallon drum of grease, which is kind of one of those bad feelings. It kind of feels like a greased up, slimy banana. It's kind of nasty. But this has got the, if you've ever held a higher quality real steel AK such as a Arsenal AK, this is what this feels like. This is not something that you're going to pick up and mistaken for an airsoft gun. This feels like a real gun. This doesn't feel like a fake toy. It doesn't have the appearance of an airsoft gun. This feels like a real steel firearm. That's what the finish has on this gun. This is one of the reasons why Real Sword has exceeded my expectations. I was expecting this to not be as nice. When I pulled it out of the box, I was blown away. I honestly was speechless. I was so speechless I had to put it back in the box. I was like, I can't mess with this. You're going to hear some words from my my DMR, also my sniper, later on about this rifle in more detail about it. But moving on, the wood is a laminated. It is a little shiny, but nothing some refinishing can't do. I wish Real Sword didn't make it so shiny because it's kind of lame in a way because it's shiny. You don't want to be shiny on the battlefield because you'll be like, walk around and be like, hey Jim, what's going on? And it's like, man, kind of being blinded by the shiny wood handguards over there. What's going on? It's not as bad as I make it out to be, guys, but nothing some sandpaper or some refinishing can't do. It's nothing you can't do in your garage or inside or a trip to Ace Hardware, Home Depot, Lowe's, a little hardware store work. I would have someone that knows what they're doing in refinishing or do your homework before you even attempt to do anything like that. It's really not as bad as I make it out to be. But I would personally refinish it if it was my gun. Now, in terms of basically the stock. Now, you may be wondering, since it's a SVD stock, You may be wondering, is it durable since it's been hollowed out? And I'm pretty sure if you've ever been in the realm of SVD market, you've probably thought of the JG SVD, which isn't a true SVD, and I really hate to bring it up because the JG SVD wasn't really good at all. The stocks always broke off, and they did make an actual all-metal and wood version that never really made it over to the US. I don't know why. I think it would have been great if it would have made it over here, but the stocks always broke. This stock is 10 billion times more durable. I'm not saying uses a baseball bat or a sledgehammer to, hammer someone into the ground, or go to a construction job and use it to, put in 9-inch nails into a gutter. But this stock is durable. You can use it to hold it by the gun like this. It is completely durable. It is also great to shoulder. But do not feel afraid to hold it by the stock. But I'm not saying, run around dual-wielding these things. I'm going to slap you. You've been playing too much Call of Duty if that's the case. Now, enough about the metal and wood components and me rambling on a little too much. I apologize, guys. This is one of the rifles that I'm going to tell you full-on in detail. Now, the scope that goes on here was a little tight of a fit, but once you get it on once or twice, some of the little materials, it's kind of got like a little rubberish coating on the scope. It will fit on eventually. Now, this doesn't have the standard AK mount rail, so if you're thinking about buying this and you're going to just buy a standard AK mount rail, it will not fit. So don't think you're going to buy a standard JG AK mount rail or a standard AK SEMA mount matrix, etc., etc., etc. will not fit. The only mounts that will fit are actual SVD mounted scopes. There is a few actual rail mounted scopes that will fit, but I will tell you, you're a moron, not really a moron, but don't buy them, because when you buy this gun, they're scopes specifically designed for this, because Russian rifles, they have scopes that are meant for them for the eye relief, because Russian guns are completely different from American guns and scopes that we use. Because I've had an ACOG and I tried putting it on my AK. Now, yes, I'm going to get crap for this. Yes, I did it, but it's only because I did it because it was practical. But the eye relief was so bad because AKs are completely different in terms of stocks and where your eye mounts to a scope. So if you're going to buy this, please just go and spend the extra money and get an actual Russian scope. Don't buy a scope mount and then put a scope on it. Now, another feature, the cheek rest is removable by a latch right here, and it comes off so you can use the iron sights and they are more accessible. Now we're going to talk more about the internals. We're going to start with the hop-up instead of the gearbox and the compression and barrel and stuff like that. The hop-up is quite unique. It is custom. Yes, it's custom. It's custom. Yes. And it's better than a TM design. Thank you, God. Not saying that the TM design is bad. I'm not saying it's bad at all. I'm just saying someone went and did a better job at TM. TM design is great, but this is better, which is kind of like, oh my gosh. Now, personally, I've shot this rifle, and there's nothing more accurate out of the box than this gun, unless you could somehow find a Tanaka rifle right now, which is, I'm not saying it's hard to find. It is hard to find one. Yes, it's hard to find one that's new and that you can get them into the US. It's kind of hard. I'm going to say that. But this has a 690 millimeter barrel. It's huge. Just because you have a longer barrel does not mean better accuracy. Does not mean that at all. The reason real swords are so accurate is because of the compression, the way everything's set up, and their hop-up unit, and the way that the air nozzle is hitting the BB, and the way that their hop-up bucking and nub is set up to the barrel. Their bucking and nub is basically fused to their barrel assembly. That's ridiculous. It's basically fused. So you have the best compression and accuracy out of this rifle. I went to a game and I got to shoot my friends. I didn't get to shoot my friends, but I shot my friends, Real Sword SVD stock. This thing was going excess of over 280 feet, and it didn't just go like, airsoft guns deviate a little bit, kind of go like that. It just went like this. Just went straight. And it didn't slowly arc down like this, like go like this. It just went like this. And then once it lost all of its velocity, it didn't just go like this. It just went like this. It just stopped. It's like it hit a brick wall and stopped. I handed it over to my team sniper. We were speechless. This rifle is a purebred sniper. I fear this rifle whenever I see it on the battlefield. The guy that was using it this day, that I played against him, feared me because I had my ridiculous RPK that sounded like a chainsaw. And he was ranging me. The only way I could get close to him is if I arced my RPK with a 650 type bore. And I had to arc it and go like that, and I was barely even ranging the guy. So this is one of the best snipers you can buy. But let's talk about the internals now, more into the gearbox. Now you have the gearbox. It's got a custom gearbox. Now don't fear and run away because it's custom. Real Sword is a very reliable company. Now I'm going to say one of my least favorite words when it comes to mentioning gearboxes. It's proprietary. I don't like throwing that word out there. But you don't really have to worry because it uses 4 gear sets. And that's probably going to throw some people off. But don't let that really scare you because with 4 gear sets, it prevents less stress with higher FPS springs. I've seen videos of people putting an 8.4 on like an M170 spring and it's pulling it back. What the hell? How is that possible? Well, with 4 gears, it's less stress. Now, it may seem more complicated. Of course, when shimming, it's going to be a lot more complicated. It's going to be a heck of a lot more complicated. And to me, that's what I would see more complicated. Now, it has 7mm bushings and a polycarb piston. Now, you may also be saying, polycarb on an M170 spring, oh no. Again, it's an elongated gearbox, so it gives you more room to house the spring. Now, Real Sword also has every single replacement part for this gun, so spare parts are replaceable everywhere. So you can get every gear, every part inside for this gun, and gear, I think replacement gears are only like $20. So it's not going to cost you an arm and a leg and a child and your soul, your social security number, your house, the title to your life, soul, everything you own, your entire airsoft collection, the next rent for the rest of your life, the entire healthcare bill, all the debt that we owe to China for all the money that we borrow from them, and the next 48 states that we add on to, I don't know, the entire world. Anyways, enough on all the money that you won't have to spend to fix this. That is one of the things that you won't have to worry about. Like if you have an SR-25, it's kind of a pain to get certain parts for that gun because it's got elongated pistons. It's not really a pain, but to get the best of the best parts, you kind of have to go out of your way to find certain parts. Now, the sights on here are great. I'm going to say that again. But in terms of replacement barrels, I've been told that Prometheus, Promi, whatever you want to call it, have replacement barrels that you can custom order. I don't know where you can get them, but I've been told you can get actual custom 700mm barrels for this gun. I've been told that by a few people. Now, there are replacement mags, and I'm going to state this. No, you cannot fit an AK magazine in this mag well. You cannot fit a 3,000 round drum mag in this mag well. You cannot fit a 1,000 round magazine in this mag well. Another thing I wanted to mention before I go to my personal opinion is that the battery compartment goes into here. Which is really weird because you think it wouldn't go somewhere like here, but it does because there's really nowhere else. You're really limited to battery space, which kind of sucks because you're going to want to have a higher, voltage, amperage. You're really limited to an 8.4 or a 7.4 stick type or 11.1. That is your only options. 9.6s will not fit in this gun. No nunchucks, no nothing. 8.4 stick, 7.4 stick, or an 11.1 stick. I'm talking, 1200 milliamp, 1500 milliamp. Very, very few batteries will fit in this gun. And I will have a separate video of how to install a battery. It's a little tricky, I'll show you how. Also, just wanted to state that. Now for my personal opinion. Words cannot describe how appreciative I am for Real Sword for making this rifle. If I could cry right now in appreciation for this rifle, I would. It pains me to let this rifle go. This is such a beautiful piece of machinery that I'm at the point where I'm speechless. It's an honor to just hold and get to actually make a video on such a spectacular rifle. There's very, very few rifles where you get to make videos and get to say, I'm proud that I got to make a video on, and this is one of these rifles. And it's such a great rifle, and I'm not just saying that because it's expensive, because it's Real Sword, because it's a Russian rifle, and because it's so much better than an M4. Excuse me. Somehow I managed to get that into almost every video. I'm saying it because they did such a wonderful job. They paid so much attention to detail, and there really, really is no better SVD on the market. And it's just the external quality, the feel, and just the looking down the scope, and having the satisfaction of this just going up against your eye socket, looking down, having that crosshair right on someone's head, and you hear that whap. And it feels like a Russian rifle, even though it's not. This is a Real Sword, which is modeled after the Chinese knockoff. Yeah, they've done such a wonderful job. I mean, the sling mounts are quite trustworthy. The metal quality is beyond what you would expect. But if you own one of these rifles, you can go home at the end of the day and know when you wake up tomorrow that this rifle will work. And that is the beauty of Real Sword, is that your rifle will look good and will function and will be one of the best airsoft guns that you will ever own. And it has an entitlement of being named. Now, I know that sounds a little overboard, but the Real Sword has a right to be named. It has a right to have the name and self-respect as an actual living being, in my opinion. This rifle has that much attention and detail. I know it sounds a little peculiar, but it is one of the best rifles. But I really can't say anything else than to say there's not a reason to not buy this gun. But enough of me rambling on. But this is an amazing gun. So, final conclusion. This is a super high quality sniper rifle. This is the best of the best out of the box. It's steel, super high quality wood, hop up, super long barrel, it's accurate. There's no need to upgrade it unless you really want to have the higher FPS spring to propel the BB out further and use heavier gram BBs. There really is no need to do that. It's accurate enough. I mean, other than that, this rifle is perfect. There's no other reason to buy anything else for this gun except for the scope. I mean, the price tag may be on the hefty side, guys. It almost whopping in at almost $600 just for the gun. At the moment, prices fluctuate over time. So, honestly, guys, this is the best rifle for sniping at the moment, in my opinion. So, guys, if you're looking to buy this rifle, there is a link in the description to AspecAirsoft where you can buy this rifle. And you can buy the scope, which does illuminate. So, guys, this has been probably quite a long review of the Real Sword SVD. And I hope you like it. And thanks for watching.